I'm finally getting around to posting my locals gameplay. Finally back after the new year. We're playing against some NL in this game, and you're gonna see how a lot of Nami games honestly just come right down to a wire, and a good top deck or two can actually make or break the whole thing. Enjoy. OP05 locals, as I mentioned. For those of you that are going to ask, yes, my deck is quadruple sleeved. It has inners, regulars, outers, which is that kind of gold thing that you're seeing, and then a top loader. Yes, this isn't competitive legal, but it's fine in locals. All right. I am working on getting a full paper version of the deck so I can play in comp with regular sleeves. But regardless, I'm on the draw against NL. I play out a buggy, get a Deathwing, and I try and do my best to remember to show my hand where possible. So there I use my last to gavel and kind of counter out an 8k attack and mill over some cards here. So we're a decent amount through. We're about 5 cards through our deck. I play out another buggy, and I find myself able to find another Deathwing. And so we're going to put some cards back at the bottom. I see my Usopp is essentially just going away. I will not have access to that throughout the majority of this game. Just a one of deck list down below in the description, by the way. And this hand isn't that bad. Now I'm gonna, they're gonna go to their turn. They're gonna hit me, and I'm gonna kind of redraw with the mellow, grab myself, or actually I don't redraw, sorry, I just counter out with the mellow. No point in losing life this early. They get out 2 threats there, and untapping with 6 Dawn. I think I'm in a relatively okay space. Again, about 7 cards deep. I'm going to Kaya to about 8 cards deep, drop an Impel down. Really thinking about what I need to drop here. I'm going to decide to actually drop a Nojiko. I don't think I need to bounce anything there, so I'm just going to Brick Fist a threat there. It's kind of the same thing. I could have just bounce with the Nojiko. It might have been better in terms of having a body out. They're going to swing 6k at me. I'm going to Spada, look at the top 3 cards of my deck, and I actually find myself 3 Zephs. Feel like I need to shuffle a little bit better, and I'm going to leave those actually right on top. I think I can bounce some stuff with it. I'm going to trigger, take an Impel down, and we are going to go from there. The trigger was off the hit from the leader itself. They're going to play a Gadatsu, get rid of my Kaya there, so I can't bounce it with whatever I might draw. Now I'm going to play out a Zeph, take the Zeph, and bounce the buggy to my hand, and then mill over 2 cards. Now we're a decent way through. So one of the pieces I like to do, so 5k is going to swing at the creature there. One of the things I like to do is kind of count myself in terms of metrics as they untap. I like being at like 4 to 5 life when I'm sub 30. If I'm like less than 3 at sub 30 cards, it's not great. Now I counter the 5k with the Kai. I counter the leader hit with a Zeph swing. Gadatsu is going to come in. I'm going to counter that out with a Deathwing, and then they play out just a Sanji blocker right there, and play out another 4-cost card. They play out another dog, which isn't great. Their board's wide. This is one of the tough things about NL, honestly. I wanted to read it. I've never seen the alt art, and so I was like, oh, okay, it's just a Sanji blocker. Regardless, though, I find myself up at 10 Dawn, and I'm doing a really bad job of showing my hand here. I'll try and remember that for kind of the next week's locals. You might run into the same problem with this week as well. But regardless, here I find myself a peel off. So what I'm going to do first is going for the swing. So 7k is going to go at lead, and then what's going to happen is blocker is just going to take it, which is great. Actually, it's just one less threat that's going to swing back at me. I'm going to draw 2 off the peel off there, and really what I'm looking to do is empty out my hand and kind of get through as fast as possible. Now what I'm going to do from here, pay out 5 Dawn. I'm going to play out another Zeph. And the point of this Zeph is not only mill some cards, but like get rid of more threats that I can't counter out of. And that's what's going to be important here. So the Zeph is going to bounce the dog. I'm going to mill over 2 cards. And you're going to start to see that like that graveyard pile is matching that library pile. So we're getting close to that 25 range, give or take. I actually think we're probably there based on the amount of cards in our hand and everything. So regardless, though, they're gonna increase their attacker there to 8k. 8k, it's gonna kill the Zeph. Just gotta let it go. It's fine. I don't have many threats. I only have a Spada and 2 Deathwings here. Finally, I decide to pull my hand up, but 5k swings. I'm gonna Spada, rearrange the top 3. I don't see a bad group of cards here. Kaya Kaya into some of those threats actually is not that bad, especially with the Kaya being able to reduce some cards from my hand. So I'm going to leave that right on top. I'm going to take the hit off the 5k there, not much to do. Kaya goes to my hand, no trigger. NL swings and I see a Kaya. I'm just going to take the hit though. I don't really want to lose the Kaya. Let's see what they do here with 4. They play out the Sanji blocker again. I draw another Kaya and then I can save them for this turn as well. Draw 2. We draw the 2 cards that we know, the rubber band. I'm actually going to drop the rubber band and the Mr. 1 here and kind of just play some more stuff out here. I have the Nojiko to bounce some threats, and what I decide to do here is I know that they're actually low on cards in hand. So I'm going to play out the Nojiko, board getting a little crazy, and attach one Dawn, go out to the leader. They counter out, which is fine. I'm going to go 5k at one of the kind of 4 cost cards there, and they're going to untap and draw. They're like honestly really running out of cards here, which is actually fantastic. I have enough to cast both the Deathwinks, which is great. That's exactly where I wanted to leave myself off in. I didn't want to attach more than I needed to. I'm going to counter out with the Deathwink. No draw there, and opponent's thinking, what do they do? There's a lot of resources. That was 10k coming in at lead. Now at this point, thinking, do I counter this out? How do I counter this? Do I want to take this coming at lead itself? And well, it was at Zeph. Sorry, I'm gonna take the Zeph hit. Zeph's not worth saving that much. It's okay because you're already spending resources, and at that point, Deathwing, save the lead, draw 2 cards. I essentially over counter just to be able to enable that Deathwing. Now fully untap here. Again, need to do a better job of showing the hand, but we're actually in a not bad place here. If we can survive one more turn, I think I can get the W. And that's really the type of thing I'm thinking at. So I'm going to swing 7k at that, and they're not able to counter out. They don't have much. They have that 1 card in hand you're going to notice on the table there, and I'm going to sing 6k at that, which is great. That takes out the card in their hand. And at this point, I have the Love Love Mellow and the Rubber Band. Now they're going to restand everything here, go to draw for their turn, and really what I'm thinking about is like rush Anna. Like that's the thing that really gets me here. So they're going to swing that much here. I'm going to counter out with the Mellow, draw a card, Rubber Band comes out. I'm going to Rubber Band to mill 1 card, and that counters out the whole swing there for 9, which is nice. Then 7k comes at lead. I'm going to Gavel, right? Pitch the Rubber Band, mill 2 Pilafs, which is an absolute nightmare. Now they're gonna kill out the Buggy, which is kind of interesting there, and that's fine. I'm gonna take the hit from there. I'm gonna draw out a Mr. 1. And at this point, I gotta go for the kill. So let's see what we draw. We draw a Mr. 1, which is not ideal, but it works. It works for its purposes. So what I'm gonna do here is really think about like, what do I need to swing with? What do I need to kill? Like I'm seeing their board, right? I need to start attaching some Dawn at my Kayas, at my Nojigos, and really start swinging in. So what I'm going to do, attach a 1k to the Kaya, swing at the 1k threat there, so they just can't attach a bunch of Dawn and go at it that way. Great, Kaya's coming in for some combat, and honestly, we're about approaching the end game here. So I'm gonna swing 8k at the Giratsu. They can't save that. That's fantastic. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm like, okay, if I can, like, do I go for this? Essentially, like the NL is gonna come down. I play Mr. 1. Right? I need to give myself like a Gavel, like one good save on a hit or something, right? Like if they play NL, then I can generally counter out one of their attacks, right? That's the big thing. So I grab the Gavel, I can go Gavel, pitch Mr. 1. Now I'm thinking, I'm like, do I just pay the last 5 Dawn, go in for the 5k swing, right? I don't, right? I gotta save it. I lose to NL, I have to take it, right? Like rush NL. But regardless, they don't have it here. So they're gonna go in for some swings here. They're gonna go 9k at lead, and I'm like, okay, do I take this hit, take the card off the top and potentially counter it out with that, or well, there you go. And the last card is actually a Mellow, which is actually insane. They swing, I draw a card, and I actually find myself a Pilaf. If you haven't noticed that, mill 2 cards, and this is where we get crazy. We untap, I see the road to victory there. So what I'm gonna do, they're gonna count. They're like, okay, I got 6 cards left. I'm gonna spend 3. I'm gonna Pilaf, right? I'm gonna Pilaf. I'm gonna draw 2. This is where things start getting crazy. So I started shortcutting a little bit. I got to be a little careful. So they asked me to kind of recount things. I Brick Fist, play the Kai. So they asked me to recount because I was going a little too fast. So play the Brick Fist, right? I played 3 mana for the Pilaf, kind of Dawn for the Brick Fist to bounce the Kaya, then play the Kaya. They just asked me to slow things down. Then I find another Brick Fist, Kaya, GG's, right down to the end. That's how we swing it.